Today, I'm going to talk about running, getting older, and the gap between what I think I can do and what my body actually allows me to do. Welcome to Hamster Running Rant. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by, and if you're a regular, well, you should know better by now, but thanks for coming back anyway. I read something this morning that I wish I hadn't. Not because it was badly written, it was actually quite good, clear, well researched. The kind of article that explains something you've been experiencing but haven't quite admitted to yourself. It was about aging and running, specifically why runners slow down as they get older. Now, I'm heading into my late 60s and I'm slow. Not I'm taking it easy today, slow. Just slow. There is a difference. And I've been telling myself stories about why. Bad training blocks, not enough sleep, asthma acting up, shoes that don't fit quite right, the weather, the course, the altitude, and there's plenty of that around here. Benicadé doesn't mess about. Basically, anything except the obvious answer. I'm getting older and my body doesn't work as well as it used to. But here's the thing. The article didn't just explain why I'm slowing down. It also explained what I can actually do about it, which is either the best news or the worst news, depending on how you look at it. Now, let me break down what I learned because it's actually fascinating and a bit depressing, but mostly fascinating. Your body's ability to run fast comes down to something called VO2 max. Basically, how much oxygen your body can take in and use efficiently. Two things determine this. First, cardiac output. How much blood your heart can pump around your body per minute. This is the big one, the engine. Second, oxygen extraction. How effectively your muscles actually grab that oxygen from the blood and convert it into energy. This is about muscle quality, blood vessel health, and mitochondrial function, little powerhouses inside your cells. Now, here's the interesting part. As you age, both of these decline, but they both don't decline at the same rate. A 20-year-old's muscles use around 80% of the oxygen delivered to them, whereas a 75 to 80-year-old's muscles use about 60%. That's quite a big drop, and it's not just because your heart is aging, it's because your muscles are actually getting worse at using the oxygen they receive. Imagine oxygen flowing through pipes like water. The air comes in, you breathe it in, it travels through your lungs, gets picked up by your heart, gets pumped out through large arteries, then smaller arteries, then capillaries, squeezes through the spaces between muscle fibers, and finally reaches the mitochondria that turn it into usable energy. Now, when you're young, those pipes are clean, wide, efficient. The mitochondria are firing on all cylinders. When you're older, the pipes start to narrow, the mitochondria get sluggish, your muscle mass deteriorates, your blood vessels don't repair themselves quite as well. So, oxygen still flows through, your heart is still pumping, but the whole system gets less efficient at actually using it. That's why I'm slow. That's why almost everyone I know in their 60s is slower than they were in the 40s. The qualifying times for Boston and London marathons extend for older runners. And that's the part I didn't want to admit, because it means the problem isn't my shoes or the weather or my training plan or even Benica Day. The problem is me, aging. The one thing you can't buy your way out of. Well, almost can't. Here's what's weird about getting older as a runner. You become simultaneously faster and slower. Your mind is better, you understand pacing, you know your body, you don't make all of those stupid mistakes anymore, well, a few of them. You run smarter, but your legs don't cooperate with your brain in the same way. And that's a strange thing to accept. For years I could just run faster if I wanted to. Not easily, but possible. Push harder, get faster. Simple equation. Now I can push as hard as I want. The engine just won't rev in the same way. I finished Atzeneta quite well. That was good, but I didn't finish because I got faster. I finished ahead because I paced it better going up, got lucky with the descent, and honestly, because Monica was there. She caught up to me from nowhere on that mountain. An incredible effort from her, and somehow, knowing she was right there, pushing through her own struggles, made me push through mine. When my legs were complaining and my lungs were working overtime, her presence kept me going. And that's the mental side of running that doesn't show up in the science. Sometimes you don't run faster because your mitochondria is improved. You run faster because someone you respect is running with you, because you don't want to let them down. Because suddenly, it's not just about your own struggle, it's about showing up for someone else. So, here's the awkward part of getting older. You have to make peace with being slower, not because you're lazy or out of shape, but because your mitochondria have decided to semi-retire. But you also have to recognize when other people pull you along, when their effort becomes your effort, when you're not running alone, even when you technically are running alone, which is irritating and beautiful at the same time. But, and this is an important bit, you are not completely helpless. The research shows two broad categories of training that actually make a difference. First, run faster. Not every run needs to be easy. Your system needs occasional doses of higher intensity effort. Running at faster paces, whether that's tempo runs, shorter fast repeats, whatever you call them, pushing the pace on certain days, forces your body to work harder and adapt. The principle is straightforward. When you run fast, your body has to take in and use oxygen at a higher rate. That stimulus triggers adaptations, better blood vessel development, improved blood flow, better nutrient delivery. Your cardiovascular and muscular systems get a wake-up call. It doesn't have to be complicated, but it does have to be fast sometimes. Second, strength training. Building and maintaining muscle mass, including upper body work, helps preserve your ability to produce energy and use oxygen efficiently. The point isn't to become a weightlifter, it's to maintain muscle density and function. Your muscles are part of the oxygen utilization equation, and they need stimulus beyond just running. And here's the key part that struck with me. Don't treat these as optional add-ons to your regular running. View them as integral parts of staying run fit. Not, I'll do some faster running if I feel like it. More like, fast running is as important as my long run. Not, strength training is extra if I have time. More like, strength training is part of my training plan. Because apparently it is. You can't outrun age, but you can slow the decline if you're willing to do the work. So, here's what I'm sitting with after reading the article. I'm slow because my body is aging. My muscles are less efficient at converting oxygen. My blood vessels aren't as good as they used to be. My mitochondria are tired. The facts. But I'm also slow because I'm not doing the things that would slow down that decline. I'm not running fast. I'm not doing consistent strength training. I'm doing easy running and calling it training, and that's on me. Now, would interval training and strength work turn me into a 50-year-old again? No, absolutely not. The decline is real. I'm not Benjamin Button. The article actually references this, which made me laugh. But could I be less slow? Could I reclaim some of what age has taken? Apparently, yes. The catch is, it requires you to actually do things that feel uncomfortable. Running faster when your body is already complaining. Lifting weights. Being consistent. Not skipping sessions because it's hot, or because you're tired, or well, because you're feeling old. Which brings me to the part of this whole thing that's actually the problem. The science makes it sound simple. Run faster, do some strength work, slow the decline. But it doesn't address the real question, which is, do I actually have the time to do it? Because here's the truth. I run the circuit races. That takes time. Race day, travel, recovery, and between races I'm fitting in training runs when I can, some weeks easier than others. Adding interval training or a proper strength routine on top of that requires time I'm not sure I have. Or maybe I have it, but I'd have to be more deliberate about it, more organised, less flexible. And there's also the question of whether I actually want to. Because I enjoy running, I enjoy the circuit races, I enjoy being part of the running community, even if I'm finishing near the back. I enjoy the simplicity of just going out and running without overthinking it. But running faster requires intention. Strength training requires discipline. Both require commitment. So I have a choice. I can accept that I'm getting slower and just enjoy running for what it is, a way to move, to be outside, to be part of something, to enjoy finishing a race with other runners, to be grateful for the people who push me along. Or I can find the time and do the work. Prioritize the faster running, add the strength training, slow the decline. I haven't decided which one I'm going to do yet, but at least now I know the options are there. And I know the slowness isn't inevitable, it's the result of choices I'm making or not making. Thanks for listening to this week's rant. Thanks especially to those of you who keep coming back, even when I'm just thinking out loud about getting older and slower and whether it's worth fighting for. Your support means more than you probably realise. If you've got thoughts on this, if you're dealing with the same thing, or if you think I'm just making excuses, or you've figured out how to balance fast running and a busy life, comments are welcome. I genuinely want to hear what you're thinking. For now, I'm going to keep running the circuit, keep showing up, keep pushing when I can, and maybe I'll figure out how to add some faster running into the mix, but no promises yet.